We are joined now by former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. He has got a brand new book out, Trump's Triumph, America's Greatest Comeback. We'll get into the Elon thing in a sec, but Speaker Gingrich, appreciate you coming on with us. You've been on with us several times. You are a student of history. Is there any doubt that Trump coming back to win the election is the greatest American political comeback of all time? Can you even think of a comparison in the historical record based on your knowledge?
No, both because he was in office, lost office, got back into office, which is tied only by Grover Cleveland in 1892. But even deeper, he had built such a strong following that Trump defeated Biden and then pivoted, and a couple months later defeated Harris. No other candidate has defeated two major opponents in 1 year. And the very fact that he's still standing, this is part of why I wrote Trump's Triumph, which I began writing back in October because I was convinced he was going to win. You think about everything they threw at him now since he walked down the elevator or the escalator in 2015, 10 years pounding away at him. And he's still standing, and now he's once again president. So it's a remarkable achievement.
Is there anybody that you even think about historically outside of the United States? You mentioned Grover Cleveland, because one of the great things about history is, one, you can learn about everybody that came before you, but you can also try to extrapolate how people that we won't know hundreds of years from now will look back. This is really a pretty incredible era. From the moment Trump came down the escalator, people are going to be grappling with his legacy for the next several hundred years.
Oh, I think that's right. I think particularly if he can win the election next year and retain the Republican control of the House, he will, I think, enact so much reform and change the old order so decisively that he will rival everybody except Washington and Lincoln as one of the greatest change agents in American history. And it's truly astonishing to watch him work, to realize how many different things he's doing at the same time and how determined he is to literally make America great again.
Trump is the most powerful person, I think it's fair to say, in the world. Elon Musk is the richest. Yesterday, Elon had basically what felt to me like a temper tantrum on Twitter. He seems to have dialed it back today. I imagine you have met Elon at some point in time. I know you know Trump well. What is your take over what happened yesterday, the relationship between the two, and where it goes from here?
Look, you have two very powerful personalities who are also very powerful in real sources. I mean, President Trump is the most powerful man in the world, and Elon Musk is the richest. So it's pretty interesting. I think Elon sort of had a temper tantrum and melted down. When you do 40 tweets in one day, you are sort of undermining yourself because it's hard for anyone to take you seriously when you do that many. And I think he was angry, upset, didn't know what to do, and acted it all out in public, which I don't think in the long run was to Elon Musk's advantage. Because he is a brilliant guy. What he's done with SpaceX, for example, has single-handedly put America back in the lead in space. So he's a remarkable person. But at the same time, he's not the president. He didn't have 77 million people vote for him. He's not in a position to wield the kind of power that the Constitution gives only to the President of the United States. And I think somehow hanging out at Mar-a-Lago and then hanging out at the White House, Elon forgot that he was a supporter to the incumbent president. He wasn't an alternative.
You said you think Trump's term in office can be truly transformative if he's able to retain control of the House. Republicans are in the midterms next year. What do you think now about the squabble surrounding the so-called Big Beautiful Bill? Speaker Johnson got it through on the House side. Senate, there are obstacles. What would your take be based on what you have seen of this bill? What should happen and what will happen?
Well, I think it should pass, and I think it will pass. It'll change form a little bit, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Look, the Founding Fathers did not want to build a machine that you could make work so easily that a dictator could make it work. So they designed a machine that is so hard that we can barely get it to work voluntarily. And they would be very happy with that. They'd say, yeah, that's the price of freedom is that you disperse power. So you got to get a lot of people to sign off. Well, that's frustrating. It's difficult. Mike Johnson has done a great job as Speaker of the House. And frankly, Senator Thune, the majority leader in the Senate, is doing a terrific job. And I think that between them, they seem to have a very good understanding. The Senate will change the bill some. Some of it will actually be an improvement. And it has to be done carefully. And if they do it just right, I think they'll bring the bill straight from the Senate without a conference and end up having, I would guess, a vote in the House. And it'll be close, but my hunch is that it'll win. I mean, this is the heart of the Trump project. He has to have this bill for the economy to boom. And I think if they get this bill through by next June or July, we'll be in what will be called the Trump boom. And we'll be creating jobs at an unbelievable rate. And take-home pay will be going up and affordability will be increasing. And people are going to think, this was worth the effort.
How durable is Trumpism post-Trump?
Well, I think one of the reasons he picked J.D. Vance to be his vice president, Vance was a year younger than Nixon was when Eisenhower picked him. And I think one of the reasons he did it is he wanted somebody who could carry on the basic core messages, and he thought that J.D. sort of had that in his head. So I think the odds are pretty good. I mean, one of the points of my book, Trump's Triumph, the American people's greatest comeback, is that you really had a message, a machine, a movement, and a messenger come together. That going all the way back to Goldwater in '64, there had been a gradual, steady increase in the desire to replace the Washington establishment, and that Trump came along and really focused and gave voice to the movement. And I think that's now real. I think you're not going to see a reversion to a traditional Republican winning the presidency in 2028. It's going to be somebody who shares Trump's values, and the most likely person, frankly, is J.D. Vance.
For people who are interested in reading the book, what motivated you? You said you thought Trump was going to win, but you're a history guy too. Were you partly writing this book to contextualize the history in real time? What motivated you? You've written a lot over the years.
Well, so much has been going on. I wanted to put it all in historic context. And the book both takes you back to how Trump got here, but it also projects forward where I think it's going to go. And I have to say, even though we began writing in October and finished in early February, when we went back and reviewed the book just before its publication, the only two things we missed were the Gulf of America and the desire to annex Canada and Greenland. Other than that, the book really did a pretty good job of capturing where the MAGA movement was going and where Trump was going.
Speaker Newt Gingrich, we appreciate the time. Have a good weekend. The book, Trump's Triumph, America's Greatest Comeback, and we hope you're having a lot of fun on the road promoting it, and thanks for the time today.
Thank you. Take care.
That's Speaker Newt Gingrich. James Carey, that's a very big difference, joined the United States Marine Corps after being inspired by his grandfather, who also served our nation. I also want to mention right off the top, I know I mentioned it earlier. I don't think I mentioned it this hour. It's the 81st anniversary of D-Day. And I hope you'll take a little bit of time, as I know so many people at Tunnel to Towers will. I hope you'll take a little bit of time to think about the legacy of all the bravery that we saw on June 6th, 1944, as all of those men stepped out into the face of the Nazi guns all over Normandy. 81 years ago today, I guarantee you Frank Siller, who started Tunnel to Towers, is thinking about it. I know him well. I guarantee you he's spending part of his day thinking about the sacrifices those guys made, and about people like James Carey, who joined the United States Marine Corps after being inspired by his grandfather, who also served our nation. James loved being a Marine, but his life would change forever during a training exercise. He lost consciousness, nearly drowned. The incident resulted in a brain injury that left him blind and unable to use his body, susceptible to memory loss, and it even brought on dementia. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built James a specially adapted smart home to enable him to live more independently. Thanks to the generosity of friends like you, the lives of America's heroes and their families are being improved. James Carey and so many others offer service members, first responders, so many people offering the ultimate sacrifice have paid a high price to keep our country and our community safe. Through Tunnel to Towers, friends like you have said thank you, not only through words, but also through actions. America's heroes need your help now more than ever. Help heroes like James and their families. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.